Hi guys, welcome to episode 15 of Girl Talk Pod. I am back with another guest episode. We got such good feedback from the first guest episode with Christina, so I'm excited to have another good friend on here with me today. Today I have Kortni King, and if you know me, you know Kortni, and she's a newer friend of mine. We've been friends for the last 2 years almost, and have developed an incredible relationship in that amount of time. Kortni is a successful entrepreneur in the fitness space. So we're going to talk about her business, the movement method, and just get to know her a little bit better. So welcome, Kortni. Hi.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
I feel good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I have wanted you to come on the podcast for a while because I know that there's a lot of things that we're going to chat about, just about your personal goals and just successes in the fitness and like your entrepreneurial life. But also like we've just been such good friends the last 2 years, and we, became friends, and honestly, it was like a honeymoon phase where we hung out all the fucking time.
We were
and
so in love.
We're still in love,
Yeah,
but we're out of that honeymoon phase now. But we'll get into kind of more of our friendship, but I just want you to just introduce yourself a little bit, like what you do for work, what you've got going on, and yeah, just say hi.
Hi, I'm Kortni King. Gabby has referenced me being in the fitness space. I would call it more of like the wellness space now. Like I think I definitely at first came into a space where I was just focused on movement and fitness, and my personal preferences and like personal desires and passions have changed to just more of a holistic like approach to all of that. Yeah. So it's more wellness, I think, than anything now, but very passionate about all of it. And yeah, we can get into the rest.
Yeah. So just build off of that. So give us a little bit of background of, well, actually, we're going to bring it back before you started this. We're going to talk about where you grew up. You're from a small town a little outside of Lubbock. You grew up there and you went to school at Tech, and then you came to Dallas. I just want to know a little bit about growing up in that space and then like coming to Dallas, because you're killing it in Dallas. Like you've small town, moved to a big city, and you never looked back. You've taken the city head on. I'm sure there were challenges, triumphs. So just kind of talk about how you grew up and all that.
Yeah, I grew up, like Gabby said, I grew up in a town of 6,000 people. My parents also went to the same high school that I went to. My siblings went to the same high school. My aunts, uncles, cousins, all pretty much went to the same high school. My parents are high school sweethearts. My dad has never been on a plane before. So that was the vibe of the city. I loved it, honestly. Like, I loved being from a small town. When I was younger, I used to think like, oh, how cute. My kids are going to go to the same high school. It's going to be adorable. I'm going to marry my high school sweetheart. Yeehaw. Which, shout out to my hometown, Slayton, Texas. Like, I love it. It's a wonderful town. Like, I'm obsessed with it. It truly is adorable. And I love to go home, and I love to just do regular small town shit. But I do really love the city. I love to travel, which I've done a lot more recently, especially over the last like 2 years or so. I didn't grow up traveling, so that's all been really new, but I love it. I love being on a plane. But I also love visiting my hometown. And to your point about like being in a city and how it's just different, or like trying to figure out, what's going on, I feel like I kind of do the same thing. Obviously my town was very small. There's not 6,000 people in Dallas. But I do find that I look for similar experiences, right? Like I look for people who really value close-knit friendships, loyalty, support of the community, you know, back in my hometown and even Lubbock, which is the closer town close to it, which most people will recognize because that's where Texas Tech College is. But, you know, like it's so easy to start a business in Lubbock or in my hometown because the entire community will support you and you'll be successful just because of that. So I think in Dallas, I've looked for definitely similar people, similar networks, similar groups, and I've definitely found that here, which I think has made me more successful and inspired me to do more than I thought I could when I moved here.
Yeah. So with that transition, because I mean, I'm sure there are going to be people that listen that are maybe living in a smaller town and like want to make that next step to, you know, move to a big city, and they might be scared of, you know, that big change. And Dallas, luckily, it's a big city, but it's a small big city.
Totally.
But just advice that you would have for maybe someone that would be doing, like, what were you thinking whenever, like, right before you moved to Dallas?
To be honest, yeah, I was dating someone at the time who didn't live in Dallas, but I had gone to visit Dallas a few times so I was familiar with the area a little bit. I came out to Dallas, I guess, I was in the car business at the time, and I was working in the car business. One of the dealerships that I would kind of like manage had a dealership here in Addison. And so I came to visit that dealership, and then I just started to like understand that, oh, I was staying in this area. I work in this area. I was there for an extended amount of time. And I just started to try to understand what life would be like to live here. Luckily, like, you know, again, I was dating somebody, so I had some friends, and, you know, some of his family that I could rely on for like to have dinner with and to ask questions to. So that was definitely helpful. But honestly, like it really wasn't that serious. I didn't think about it too much. I was ready to go. I'm like, cool, I'll move to Dallas. Like, as long as I had a job, as long as I had somewhere to live, which, you know, I looked for, and like I felt comfortable about my surroundings, it really wasn't that big a deal. So my advice to anybody is just to go visit the city, or anywhere you're thinking of moving, and just to explore it. See if you like it. See if you can find a decent location that you feel really safe and comfortable in. People, whatever, you'll meet people, but find a place where you feel like you can kind of look around and think, okay, the grocery store's over there. I can go eat over there. I can go for a walk this way. Familiarize yourself with the surroundings, visit it a couple more times to see if you like it in different seasons. Other than that, just move.
Yeah.
It's really simple math. Like, obviously Dallas is a little bit more of a, it's more financially demanding than my small town, but like I was making good money. I just started to calculate how much I needed to live, you know, rent, whatever else I was paying for. And once I did that math, it was totally fine.
Yeah, it made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that I will say about you is like, you're always like moving around town, making connections with new people. So is that something that you've always kind of, or tried to do, like even back home, or?
No, honestly, like that was actually the most challenging thing about moving to Dallas for me, because I am naturally very introverted. I'm extroverted around people that I really, you know, love and that I'm comfortable around. But other than that, I'm a very introverted person. I stay to myself. So that actually is the most challenging thing for me, or was, about moving to Dallas, because like, you do need to network, right? Like I didn't know anybody here. I didn't, especially when I changed career paths from the car business to being a personal trainer and wanting to start my own business, because I was pretty much an independent personal trainer from the minute that I started, outside of like a little 30-day window, which we can get into later. But I was very uncomfortable with like going around and meeting new people. So it's interesting that a lot of people actually view me as like, oh, you know people and like you meet people all the time. What's crazy about that is that like I'm never actually extending myself out to those people. I don't know if I just look like an approachable person, which is kind of funny because a lot of people tell me I have like a resting bitch face, or like I always look mad.
Same.
But people come up to me and they talk to me like maybe my energy is warm. I don't know. Like I find, you know, the one story that I'm thinking about is like, I just remember like kind of just being home a lot. and then being like, I'm going to go grab a smoothie. Like, just get out of the house, go grab a smoothie. I went to Juice Bar here, or Juice Land, actually, in Trinity Groves, like somewhere around here. Anyways, I went to Juice Land, and like I just started talking to like the girl that was the cashier that day, just started talking to me and asked me what I do, and then got into personal training, like came in for a session. So stuff like that happens to me all the time. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I'm so good at like networking. I'm a people person for sure. And I definitely like am authentic with any connection that I have, personal or business. And I definitely try to connect with somebody. So I'm definitely good at that. But like when it comes to putting myself out there in that way, I wasn't good at it until I just started going out to do things by myself a little bit more. And then receiving like this warmth from the community. And then I'm like, oh, cool. If I go get a smoothie instead of like making one at home, somebody might talk to me and I might book them for my next session. Yeah. And that, I think like that experience over and over has made me more open and warm to like getting out and networking more.
For sure. I feel like at times making friends can be definitely intimidating, especially in Dallas, because there's so many people that are, superficial or just not very genuine. And I think but that's everywhere. And I think that the more we kind of step out of our comfort zone, like you have in these situations, I mean, you realize like you are in turn a little more, you grow like empathy for people. You realize like everyone's got their own story. You try to see past like the RBFs.
Yeah. I think too, like when the places I've found people are doing things that I really love, right? Like it's going to my favorite coffee shop, going out for lunch, even if I'm just like have my computer with me, putting myself in places that I really thrive or just feel good about doing that day. And anytime I'm in one of those places, like that's where I meet people. Yeah. So I think it's easier because, these people are also in the same place that I am. So we're meeting each other like in a very similar atmosphere. Obviously we both like being there or we wouldn't both be there. And so I think I think what's discouraging is meeting people where you're saying like they don't feel authentic or you don't connect with them. And that can be discouraging because if you're constantly meeting people that are just kind of like not your vibe, then it's going to seem like, okay, well, like is anybody? Yeah. But it's always really encouraging when you meet people that are and that you just kind of click with, and that's like the best part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. We're sidebarring because I forgot about our birthday shots here. I was like looking at them and they're staring back at me. So Kortni's birthday was 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
She is a Cancer queen. Yes. And our birthdays are actually a month apart. Not to make it about me.
But Gabby's a Leo.
Yeah, I'm a Leo. But I love that though, because like Kortni's birthday is like a fun thing to celebrate, obviously, and it's like a benchmark and it's just connected in some way. Yeah. So we have some tequila. We're going to celebrate. I haven't seen Kortni since she got back from her amazing Italy trip, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, but I don't think that there's any better way to celebrate, but drink as much or as little as you want.
Okay, maybe we should sip on it?
No. Did y'all drink yours?
Oh, God.
Okay, well, cheers and happy birthday. Don't.
Why am I shaking? I'm more nervous about the tequila shot than the podcast.
Oh, well, this should help. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, do you want some coconut water?
Mm-mm. I don't like coconut water.
Oh my gosh, that tequila. Delicious. Awful.
That was great.
Oh my gosh. Warm tequila on a 105 day in Texas. Love it.
Yeehaw.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your birthday. Sorry. I'm like, whew, struggling. So you just had a birthday.
Just had a birthday.
Do you have any manifesting / intention setting / rituals around your birthday to oh my gosh, I can't even talk.
To prep
for the year ahead?
I do not have, actually, my birthday ritual now, because it's changed. First of all, I grew up thinking nobody cared about my birthday because
no one does.
No, they don't actually. Nobody cares.
But
about
as long as you do.
Yeah. So triggering. But my birthday was in the summer. So like everybody was out of school. Like if my friends were traveling for the 4th of July weekend, because that's kind of where my birthday falls, like see you later. Have fun with your family, I guess, you know? So I think what I've done for myself on my birthday is to not focus so much on like what is happening that day or that weekend, but focus on the things that I really want to do that like make me feel really amazing. And it's not like a bunch of extravagant things. Like I think last year on my birthday, like I just gave myself an itinerary. I was like, who do I want to see? And it doesn't have to be somebody I've known for 20 years. It doesn't have to be like my mom, no offense to my mom, but like it just, I want to be around really good energy. And I just overall want to have a really lovely day.
Yeah.
So like I want to book a workout with one of my favorite instructors. I want to go have lunch at my favorite place. I want to drink my favorite coffee, maybe 2 of them if it really, you know, if I'm really feeling it. And so I just celebrate my birthday now, I think, doing things that I really want to do. And like the plans with my friends will always happen because, you know, everyone's going to prioritize my birthday eventually.
Yeah.
But you know, we'll all have a good time and do what we're supposed to be doing. But I think on my birthday, I just want to be around good people, whether it's like the cashier at Trader Joe's who just like told a funny joke. Like I don't care as long as it's a good vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To build on me saying that no one cares about your birthday, because I do care about your birthday.
No, she only traveled on my birthday. She only left town. No, I'm kidding. I don't care. Part of my birthday, part of being who I am is supporting my friends. So if my friends like want to just be out of town on my birthday, I'm just kidding.
Get out.
I don't care.
No, because I just talked about this on my my last episode, about how like people, there's like birthday people, and then there's people that like hate their birthday, that won't tell you their birthday because they don't want their birthday to be celebrated. But like I'm proud to be someone that loves my freaking birthday, and that's not even a Leo thing, because we have
one of those categories.
We have a Gemini friend that like
loves her birthday,
loves her,
and
fucking,
we love her birthday as well.
and we celebrate her birthday
Totally.
But I love my birthday, and I don't expect anyone else to love my birthday as much as I love my birthday. So I'm going to make it a big deal in like my world. I don't necessarily expect anyone else to, because it's my birthday. It's not anyone else's. So
I am not a birthday. I'm like neither one of those people. I am like the person who says they don't care about their birthday, and then it's like, where's everybody on my birthday? But also I'm very hyper independent. I'm going to have a great time, and I'm going to feel really good about it no matter what.
I mean, you just said something hyper independent. That's something that I've always really admired about you, is just like you like to go out and you like to network and meet people, but like you're so good at just like being at home and just like doing the things that you need to do. And you're so like sure of the decisions that you make. And I just feel like that's so rare. And because I've struggled with it, I know other people have struggled with just like, you know, identity, but like you genuinely are someone that I would say is like so in tune with who they are and unapologetic for it. And I love that. Like if something's not serving you, and if something is not, you know, I say fitting in your aesthetic, but it's a joke. But if like that's something that you don't want to do, like you're not going to do it. You're not going to bend over backwards and like release energy that you don't want to, or if you don't have the room to do it, you're not going to do it.
I think there's a few reasons I do that. One, thank you, because I'm so glad that you view me as somebody who is confident in my decisions, because to be honest, it doesn't always feel like that for myself, right? I think I'm glad it's coming off to you that way, because I do take a good amount of time to come to decisions, right? Like, I give myself the space to really think about things. But I also try not to rush myself to come to a certain decision. Yeah. I am very intentional about the way that I do that. So if it's me wanting to like spend time at home or like just go on a walk, like for example, I, you know, of course, like one of our girlfriends is like, hey, like, what are you doing on the morning of my birthday? And I'm like, I'm honestly just going to go for a walk. Obviously I know she'll come with me, but like, I really just wanted that time for myself and space to just go for a nice walk and really think. So I give myself the space to come to those decisions. And to be honest, I don't really care what anybody thinks about the timeline of which I do that in. Yeah. I'm not worried if somebody is like not happy with me because I wanted to stay home, or if I wanted to have lunch with myself instead of them. that is like totally for me, and I can't show up for anybody or make any decisions if I can't show up for myself and give myself that space. So I'm very honest in that. Like, sure, do we all have like little people pleasy like tendencies or things that we do, but I have just never really cared what anybody thinks about me. And I'm glad, but I've learned to be just more okay with the fact that like I need that time or that space, and I'm more honest with people about it, because if you can't be honest with people about the time that you need, then a lot of people take that personally. But yeah.
Yeah, I resonate with that, because I am working on it, and I've been a people pleaser my entire life, and like a lot of that comes with the fear of abandonment and like trying to keep people close. But it's something that I'm learning of, just it's so much more easier to, and people respect you more when you do set those boundaries for yourself and like put yourself first, rather than like always being like readily available and like malleable to like whatever they need. Most of the times like we think that's what people want, but it's like the exact opposite of what they need. And so that's something that I'm constantly working on myself, is just like expressing like, hey, this might be a little bit too much for me. And when I have that like full cup to give, to pour into you, like I'll be there. But now I've got to like take a step back and like focus on myself. And most, like, to my surprise, people understand that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's always encouraging when you're around people who understand that, right? Who don't make you feel bad about these things. And the only reason, and probably the only way that I learned to be that way, is because I had people in my life who showed up for me in that way.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for that. My family, my friends, like people have supported me with the time and space that I need. And, thank God, because like if I didn't have people like that, then it would be hard for me to probably let go of people who didn't support me in that way. And also it would be hard to notice. But I have two sisters. We're very close. We're, all very supportive of each other. And like I use those relationships often to kind of gauge how people are treating me. Cause I'm like, my sisters would never do that.
Yeah, I love it. I want to get back, circle back to like career, something that I don't know if I've talked about. I actually know I did talk about it. So I got certified as a personal trainer a few years ago, and that I owe that to you. So I just quit my job too. I'm getting out of corporate. You have a kind of a similar story to where you're working in finance and then like started your own business. So when I met you, I was just so inspired in many ways. Like I ended my relationship. I got my certified certified personal training license. Like Kortni really inspired me to like really take life by the fucking horns. We'll say horns, and just like make it into anything that I wanted. And I thought that was really inspiring, because I kind of grew up with the mentality of like I should have things provided for me, and like I met Kortni, who's a boss, and she really inspired, like showed me like never, like don't ask for it. Like you should never have to ask for the things that you want. Like go get them yourself. And it's nice when someone spoils you every once in a while.
I'm begging.
Yeah. Like we won't say no.
I would love to stop working. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I love my work. I'm very passionate about what I do, but yeah. I am very independent. It's a blessing and a curse, because it is hard for me sometimes to collaborate with other people. Yeah. Like in my personal life, in my professional life, romantically, like I'm always just not on guard, but like I am gonna take a slower amount of time to like see if me and this person, in whatever form or fashion that is, can collaborate. Can we communicate? Do we enjoy this experience? Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, very hyper independent. But to your point, like I'm so encouraging of like, do what you want to do. And like, if that's what you want to go do it. Because even if it's not for you, the quicker you get that over with and get that out of like your heart or your head, like the faster you're going to find out if it's for you or not. And that's going to be a better experience than like staying where you are and questioning whether you should do anything.
Yeah. So tell me, just on that topic of like being an entrepreneur, you left a finance industry and you got into the wellness, was fitness, and then you have transitioned and started your business, the Movement Method. We should have put your bag up here just for a little
promo.
Yes, but so you started the Movement Methods. Can I just tell me a little bit about that journey from deciding like the car finance world was not for you, and then starting your own business, some triumphs, challenges, and just kind of successes?
Yeah. So when I was in college, I paid for my college. So I was just trying to find money, really. Like I wanted to make good money. I picked up multiple jobs to help do that. And I was always in kind of like a sales role, but once I was in a sales role, like I used to work at a car wash and like upsell tire shines and stuff, which was so fun. Also in like a more male dominated industry, like a bunch of guys at the car wash, we were all having a good old time. But I would like upsell these tire shines. I got really good at that. And then the company asked me to go around and train all the other little car washes to teach them how to like kind of do that sales process. So I've always been in kind of a sales role, but I've also always been in a role where I'm like training someone else to teach them something, which is really all about good communication and also trying to understand how a person responds best to information. So I went from the car wash to like bartending a little bit in college at the same time. Then I got into a job in the car business. I did finance, sales. Finance to me, like if you're familiar with the car business, is a lot harder than being like in a sales role, because in finance, you're still selling products like extended warranties and protections and insurances. But instead of having like months with a client or a customer, like a car salesman does, I have like 30 minutes to shake someone's hand, say, hi, how are you? And then try to get them to pay for something that they probably don't want to pay any more for once they get into the office. So that was really challenging, but a really great learning experience. After the car business, I went to school for kinesiology at Tech. So exercise sport science was my track. I wanted to be a physical therapist. The car business was super fun. I learned a lot. I learned how to like work one-on-one with people. I learned how to negotiate. When I decided it wasn't for me, I really wouldn't say like I knew that right away. I was making great money. I was like, cool, I'm going to just ride this career out. I'm going to keep getting better at it. And I'm making good money. But I figured like I started to experience these just like bad weeks, days, months sometimes. I started breaking out in hives. I was super stressed. Like, yeah, my skin was like not happy. My body was responding poorly to me. And it was just because I was under a lot of stress in the career that I was in. It wasn't a good fit. I was constantly like going to meetings with like my superiors, I guess. And like they were like, hey, like, what's up? You're not passionate, this, and that. And I'm an extremely passionate person. Like if anybody knows me, I'm going to go off talking about everything I'm passionate about. So like to have that feedback when I know that I'm a different kind of person was tough, and I didn't understand why it was happening. I also made poor decisions, right? Like decisions of like sleeping in or being like unethical, like in my career and stuff, because I didn't want to do certain work, but I would like, try to work around it. Like it just wasn't right. And I want to be ethical. I want to be an amazing employee. I want to be a good, service to anybody I'm working with or for. And so I kind of realized like, all right, you got to switch career paths. Mm-hmm. I was passionate about fitness. I had my degree in it. I went to go work for LA Fitness for like 30 days because I was like, okay, I don't have any clients. I don't know anybody here. Like, I can just try to go gain.
And this was Dallas, right?
In Dallas. Yeah. But I was like, if you're looking to change career paths, like just put yourself in an environment where you can gain experience in that industry and then start putting yourself out there. And most importantly, let people know what you're doing. I think I made an Instagram post. I was like, I'm going to be a personal trainer now. And like, who cares if you've been doing it for 1 day or 1 month or 1 year? Like, let people know what you're doing so that they know how to contact you or that they can contact you for this type of service. Mm-hmm. I worked for LA Fitness for 30 days. After that, I just started doing math. Like, okay, I'm working 40 hours a week, making like $10 a session. I could take a few of these clients, charge a little more, and then like make all I need to survive in life. So that's what I did. And I've been independent ever since.
Yeah. When I first started, I mean, that's what I was like worried about like pricing myself too high, and just like I was like, I've only been doing it for you. We're like, girl, like we're not gonna think like that.
Do it.
You've got to be confident in what you're doing, and you can't sell yourself short. You're like, you have to price yourself at this level, and then people are going to, you have to obviously amount to that service, but don't ever like undervalue yourself. And that's something that you've always taught me is like, or, cause being a people pleaser, I'm just like, oh, people aren't going to want to spend this much. And I'm, like, no, people that prioritize like fitness and health, like they're going to, pay you whatever to like make them like reach their goals, help them get healthy, do all the things. And then those people that don't prioritize it and are trying to look for, like coupons and stuff, like you probably don't want them. Yeah. You don't want them as your client either.
Your customer is always out there. Like you have, there's people who buy Range Rovers and people that don't, right? Like there are people who pay for personal trainers, and there are people who don't. The people who don't pay for personal trainers are not my client. I personally chose a career path that I would do, right? Like before I was a personal trainer, I invested in personal trainers. If you're worried about pricing or like what you value yourself, I mean, imagine if I told everybody like my services are free, like how much would they think that I value my work?
Yeah.
I was confident in charging a rate or a more premium rate, and am now, because I've invested in education to help my clients. I know that I'm the best fit for this client to help them. And if I can't figure something out, I'm going to go invest in more education to figure out something that they need help with. And I'm confident in that ability versus just, them coming to me for something that I can't help them with. And then I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to train you anyway. Like, no, I'm going to figure out everything that they need to make sure that they have a good experience and like the service that they're getting.
Yeah. Talk to me about the movement method.
The movement method is, a wellness magazine that I am working on that will be available very soon. But it's a concept that I've come up with, that's kind of changed over probably the last 2 years. I started taking the concept of it very seriously a couple years ago. At the beginning of this year, I kind of actually had on paper, right, like exactly what happens and the order of operations of it and like the things that I need to get done to bring it to life. So it's about to come to life, but it's a wellness magazine full of local resources and products and theories and seasonal produce. But the whole basis of it is that how you do one thing is how you literally do everything. So if I'm open in my mindset, I'm going to be open in my relationships. I'm going to be open in the way that I approach my fitness. I'm going to be open in the way that I approach nutrition. If I'm closed off to something in business, then I'm probably closed off energetically to everything else in life. So it's a concept that how you do one thing is how you do everything. And it's a seasonal approach to all of it so that we're moving through the year a little more intuitively.
Sure.
And definitely with intention of like, what are we doing this season? And like, how are we going to make the most of it?
Yeah. You use the word intuitively, and that's something that I've definitely taken from you in the world of fitness and wellness. Is just like a lot of people think things are kind of one size fit all in these spaces. And I've taken a step back and looked at my routine and realized like these things aren't working for me, and just really like learning to listen to my body, and my body's going to tell me what I need. And I know that you practice a specific modality of movement. Talk to me a little bit about that, of just like how your client, like if your client comes in with maybe like an ailment, a physical ailment, or how do you kind of move with them? Yeah.
So I'm a functional trainer. Everything I do in my training sessions is super functional, right? I luckily stumbled upon a training modality called Flowbility a couple years ago, which I highly recommend it to anybody. It's changed my life. It'll change yours. They've got a website, they've got an app. You can go to flowbility.com and get into all that. And explore. But essentially, it's a style of training that focuses on spine conscious movement. As we age, obviously, your spine just compresses, the pull of gravity, different movements that you're doing is just kind of throwing your body like in different positions. And also, if you're doing the same movement patterns over and over, it's going to continue to push your body and your bones and your muscles into that certain position. So it's all about length for strength, and just the natural kind of fighting the natural aging process of the physical body. So that's something I practice personally. Of course, I share some of those concepts with my clients, but overall my training style is super functional. So we're doing things like kind of having fun with the session, doing things that will encourage more of like your natural movement patterns, throughout the day. I don't think there's a single time I put like a barbell on somebody's back, because like nobody's carrying around like jugs of water and things in real life, so it's functional. I want everyone to move, and I want people to be able to like relate their movement to everyday life. I don't have any bodybuilders in my like sessions who are like trying to do things, specifically for that. So like, I assume they want to be able to sit at their desk more comfortably. They want to be able to swing their golf club a little bit better. My girls who are getting spray tans and like having to hold their arms up while they do it, I assume they don't want their shoulders to get tired when they're doing that, So like, I just want everything to feel better. I want people to feel better, and I will look for any modality, and way to allow my clients to move better. All the time.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime that I got something going on, whether it's like I can't use the restroom or like my back hurts.
A lot of people's hips are super tight. Like people can't digest any food because their intestines and their hips are just like shriveled, open up your hips.
Yeah. I'll call you up and you'll be like, have you breathed today?
Did you do some soft tissue work?
Yeah. And I'm like, no, but then I do it and then everything's healed. And I'm just like, wow, all I had to do was like really breathe and just like release.
Yeah. Everybody's body wants to go like this. It's just really compact, like more space, more breath.
Yeah. I think I'm like 2 inches taller.
More length.
Since I've grown.
Don't forget that, everybody. If you know me, you can get a little taller.
Yes. Okay. So let's move on to, one more question just about the career that you're in. So, I mean, I know that you have no limitations in life, but like people will, people will sometimes categorize, and you talked about this in the car industry as well, fitness and wellness as a male dominated space. So as a woman being in this, what are some of the maybe challenges that you have faced, but also like, how do you approach, I know how you approach this, but
I'm just thinking about so many things, which is so crazy. Yes, I've always been in male dominated industries. So that has forced me to like really know my shit. Like when I was in the car business and I would walk into dealerships and like try to explain to these men who had been in the car business for like years, right? Like they're in their 50s or 60s or 40s, whatever. Anyways, they were older than me because I was in the car business at like 21 years old. A lot of people thought I was the receptionist, and I was like, would you like a water? See you in the office when we're negotiating, So that was always really fun. But it forced me, to look very professional, right? Like I never wore my hair down, which no offense, like everybody should slay the office. If you're a girly, like keep wearing your hair, wear whatever you want. Okay. But like at the time I needed to make sure I looked like super professional.
A drill sergeant.
George Washington. I look great with my hair pulled back.
I know you
pony,
do.
By the way.
You do.
But I needed to look very professional. I upgraded my wardrobe to look very professional. And more importantly, like I made sure that I knew what I was talking about, because there were many times we were like, oh, this girl, like, how are you? Nice heels, And I was just like, yeah, what are your numbers? Like, let's get down to business, Mark.
Yeah.
So I just made sure I really knew what I was talking about. And I took an investment in making sure that I was doing my job well. So I think it taught me that. The down part of that is that I found myself in like just a hyper masculine energy all the time. Working with guys was easy because like it was cool. Like there was no drama, whatever. I could have a good time. People would, ask if I needed anything. Kortni, do you want some lunch? Do you want some water? Whatever. It was super helpful. Thank you guys. But I was just always in this like masculine energy of like, what are the numbers? What time do I need to go from point A to point B? Like, how good can I do my job? Like, it was just a lot of masculine energy. And so what I do now actually, and like my whole reason for pursuing what I'm doing with the movement method is just a more feminine approach to everything. Like I'm super creative, I'm super intuitive, and I love being in that space. But it took me a while to like realize that that was like what I really needed to tap into to make something successful and to feel good about it. But obviously with anything, like even for men and women, like it's important to be able to tap into both like a masculine and feminine energy. Like when I'm trying to come up with seasonal concepts and themes, yes, I tap into a more creative feminine space, and that helps me get all of that out there. But when it comes down to like hiring people to help me or sticking to a timeline or figuring how I'm going to generate sales or do marketing things, like I do have to tap into that masculine side and be able to like kind of come up with a game plan.
Yeah.
I prefer not to be there that often, but like I'm always so grateful when I meet people both personally, professionally, romantically, who put me in more of a feminine energy, because it just feels so nice, and like everything that I do flows from that, and it's all perfect.
Yeah. No, I like it. I see that in you. I can like trust that you're going to handle things, but I also liked when you can kind of let your hair down and just like be girly and just like, you know, let like yourself get treated and stuff. I think it's important to like loosen the reins.
Yeah. I bring this up because like when we first became friends, Gabby and I, like, I love to go to dinner. First of all, dinner is like my favorite thing, but we would sit at the table and I would just like kind of wait for her. Cause I'm like, is she going to order dinner? Or is I going to order dinner? Cause I like to order for the table. Yeah. Like I'm like, who's first? Who's ordering for the dinner table? Me and Gabby have had a talk, and now I order for the table.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
But also like that, I would consider like a more like, you know, masculine energy. Like I'm ready to like kind of do that. But also like it's a feminine energy, like reason that I do all that, right? And it's not because like I want to control the table or because I think I know what I'm doing more than anybody else, but I do. But it's because like I know my friends so closely and intuitively. I know what Gabby wants on the table probably. I know what everybody else is like wanting to order. I kind of know how hungry everybody is because I'm assessing that, and I want to make sure we have an appropriate amount of food for the table. We're not letting things go to waste, but we're also like getting full. So the reason I do it is for love. You know,
it's
for
like
love.
caregiving. It's
yes.
It's like it. Well, yes, we've talked about this because I'm like, I was kind of categorizing it as like control the situation, but it's definitely more of like you're just trying to care for everybody and like let people know, like, you know, I got your back and I'm like paying attention. You. Yeah.
We're putting truffle fries on the table.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. And that's something, because I struggle with it. I'm a Leo. Like I like to control a lot of things, and it is a struggle to me to like let loose. And it's like more of like trust too, because I've had to do a lot of things for myself and like protect myself a lot of my life. So finding people that I can genuinely like let go and be like, I know that you're gonna get me to point A to point B, and I can like kick my feet up, which is really, it can be hard for me, but it's either like I'm 100% like in it and like have to control the situation,
or I'm out. Yeah.
And
and I'm the same way. And it is nice. It's nice when you have those people around who can allow you to kind of like let loose
relax
a little bit. Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of people like that in my life, but you are one of those people that I like don't have to like. I know like if Kortni's in charge, like I'm gonna make it there fine. There's some other people that
some people would not agree with that.
Oh,
actually.
Really?
But
I was saying more of like I've got other people in my life that I'm like, oh hell no, like I gotta.
It's more like ask anybody who's been in the car with me. They're like, are we going to make it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you do like to drive though, which is wild.
I like to be in the car.
But you like to drive your own car,
I do like to drive my own car, but mainly because I like to pick the music. I'm going to set the vibe. Like we're going to put the sunroof down. Maybe not if it's not the time. Mm-hmm. I like to create the atmosphere for the people in the car. I wouldn't say I like operating the vehicle.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. You just need a driver.
Yes.
And you need aux, though.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's shift into more about just you and kind of like your daily routine stuff, because like I know that you're very big on like cultivating a routine, so like having your space. You're one of the most like aesthetically pleasing people that I know.
Thanks.
But also like you are extremely dedicated to like the things that you need to do. Like you won't have sleepovers because you got to get home to your skincare routine.
Yeah.
So tell me just some of your like routine, like daily or nightly, and like what are some of the non-negotiables that like you you ain't skipping.
Skincare routine. That's so funny. I won't have sleepovers because I do that. That's true. My skincare.
And I'm not talking about with me.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I got a 10-step process. I got to get out of here.
It was really fun, but like,
yeah, time's up. Yeah, so I do have some non-negotiables. Thank you for complimenting my aesthetics. I actually was just having this conversation earlier because I was talking to somebody I'm working with for the movement method. We were talking about the summer aesthetic and so on. And she was like, you know, why would you pick me to work with you? Like, what about this, like, you know, is compatible? Of course, I had multiple other reasons, but one of the reasons was aesthetic. Not because this person has a similar aesthetic to me, but because, well, she does actually have a similar aesthetic to me, but because like my aesthetic, you know, people were like, oh, you're so aesthetic. Like your pictures are this and that. And like, how do you do this? And like, how do you do that? And what do you do? I cannot tell you how I do any of it because I literally just do it. Like none of these things that I'm posting or my aesthetic, right, is a thing that I'm making up. Like it's not a curated situation. Yeah. These are the things that I'm naturally drawn to. These are the things that I find attractive, to literally my visual, like, eyeballs, like to my heart and soul. Like these are the things that I am drawn towards. And like the things that people are seeing is just kind of a compilation of like who I am. So yeah, I had somebody reach out to me. They were like, what books do you read? Like, you know, like your mindset is this and that. Like, what can you recommend me? I'm like, I'm not reading anything right now. And I don't know the last time I read a book, like, to be honest. Yeah. My mindset is like me paying attention to my life and the lessons that it brings me and the decisions it forces me to make. And I'm very intentional and I'm very intuitive with those things. And I read myself, like I give myself the time and space to assess these things. And that's what's shown to people, like a curated aesthetic. But how I come up with it, to be honest, is like, these are the things that I like. I painted my walls the other day in my apartment. Yeah. Like, we won't talk about that because I have to repaint them. But
how's your mirror doing?
Bad. I have to get a new one immediately. Maybe it's kind of part of the aesthetic now.
Yeah, I guess.
It's paint all over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I do the things that I want to do. I'm around the people that I want to be around. I'm drinking the things that I want to put inside my body. I'm eating the things that I want in that moment. Like if it's not an absolute yes, it's just a no. Like there's no sense in me wasting time around people or in places or consuming content or things, putting myself in environments that are just not that fun to be around. Like I want to feel good and I want to consume things that make me feel good and I want to take pictures of it all. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I had a conversation about this with someone and I was like, because I was looking at, you know, different pages that have like the same color scheme and they've just it's like so aesthetically pleasing. And I was like, I like want to do that. Like because if you look at my shit, it's like all over the place. Like, but that's me though. Of course. And like the person I was talking to was like, but I love your content because it's you. Like if you try to be someone else, like people are going to be able to sense that shit and they're not going to feed into it. And it's just like, don't worry so much about having like this amazing like cover page and all this stuff. Like put out like what you want and people are going to be more attracted to like the feeling of you being like organic and genuine than like all of your pictures like having the same filter.
Totally. Also, I think like it's part of like the evolution, right? Sometimes the things that I'm taking pictures of or posting or the things that I'm around are just a reflection of like my current mood of that day, that season, that hour, even, you know, whatever. Yeah. So
and you can take shit down.
That's what it is. Exactly.
Like,
and you know what? I actually never take anything down. Like I hardly take things down. Like I know a lot of people who kind of like wipe their social medias and stuff. Like, honestly, I don't care because that's who I was like a month ago. And to be honest, like the person I was 2 hours ago is probably not even the same person I am now. Let's move on from that. You know, let's evolve. And I'm constantly doing that. And I think people find that relatable because they're able to just, it's their emotions, their moods. Like who cares? It's not that serious. It's not that personal. Yeah. Change it if you don't like it, leave it like that if you don't. But yeah. The more authentic you can be, the better. Because if it's not authentic, like it'll be hard for you to keep up with it.
For sure.
You know, and you'll feel that yourself. Like if you're not able to keep up with it, it's probably because you don't really love it.
Yep. Start resenting it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your Italy trip.
Oh, my Italy trip.
So earlier you were talking about how like you didn't grow up traveling. You've done a lot of travel like in the last 2 years. You went from not having a passport last year to going on this beautiful
trip to Italy.
Trip to Italy. Yeah. The first time you've ever stepped foot out of the country. You go sail the
coast of Italy.
Coast of Italy. Tell me about it. Tell me about your highs, and I doubt there's any lows, but
no lows whatsoever.
A little seasickness, a little bit.
Yeah, I did get seasick a little bit. On the first day. Yeah, that was rough.
But you're like,
who cares? I'm getting seasick in Italy. I don't care at all. That was my first time out of the country ever. I did not have my passport. I got my passport last October. And everyone's like, where are you going? Why are you getting your passport? I got a friend who encouraged me, like, Kortni, you need your passport. You've got to have that. And I was like, you know what? You're right. So I'm grateful for people who kind of put these things out there for me and encourage me to do the things that I need to do.
And there were a few that were they're trying to prevent you from getting your passport.
Were they?
Your parents.
Oh, yeah.
My dad's like withholding your birth certificate. He didn't want you to leave.
It took me. I'm like, Dad, give me my stuff. He's like, do you really need it? I'm like, yeah, I'm fleeing the country, sir. I got to get out of here.
I love it though.
No, when I was going to Italy, I actually did not call my dad directly to tell him that, but my sister said that he was like, you know, your sister never listens to me.
Nope.
I'm sorry. I got to go.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes, I did get my passport no trip plan in case I needed to flee the country. Mm-hmm. And this year I needed to flee the country. No, I'm super grateful. One of my clients invited me on a trip with like some of his closest friends. He, takes everybody out there. It's a very close, intimate group of friends. And like, I now have new best friends and wonderful relationships.
Really? Best friends?
I have new friends who I really adore. But yeah, I had the best time. It was a lovely group and, it was insane. I'll tell you my favorite thing about it. Obviously the sailing was super cool. I mean, like being out in the middle of the freaking ocean and like being on smooth water was just mind blowing to me. But I was at first we were going to do the whole Amalfi Coast, which is, just a more like, bougie or uppity, like fun part of Italy. Right. And I'm from a small town. So like for me going to Europe for the first time, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be insane. Like, I really got to work really hard to be able to travel to Europe more often and like blah, 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 which of course I do. But, I was really grateful. Like once we got on the trip and we talked to the skipper, he was, he's a sailor. He was like, let me show you guys some really fun, like smaller islands and like kind of give you a mix of both. So I'm super grateful for that because one, we just saw a ton of like really beautiful nature. I mean, mountains, like coming from flat ground in West Texas, like mountains are always like ridiculous, but to see them in the middle of the ocean, these huge rocks, right? And like just gorgeous. But coming into like some of the smaller little islands in Italy where it's just, like a couple restaurants, on a strip by the marina was really fun because I'm like, oh, cool. Like I only have one restaurant in my hometown too. So do y'all.
So it's like the same.
I love it. It doesn't taste like there's no fresh catch of the day, but like similar. No, seriously, it was refreshing to like just see that people are out there chilling and it's not as like big and grand as I thought it would be.
Not a huge culture shock.
No, but of course, like the fun, cooler, more bougie parts of Italy and beach clubs were also really amazing. I mean, anytime that I can change my scenery and like just see things like different architecture walking down streets of Rome and like, caves while I'm sitting at a beach club in Capri was just ridiculous. So no complaints. I had the time of my life.
Yeah. No, I mean, it looked like it. I haven't seen you since before you left, and we really haven't had time to debrief it. So I'm going to get the full story and all the ins and outs of it. But it looked absolutely stunning. I can't.
It's beautiful.
The only place I've been in Europe is Greece and it's Mediterranean. I really would love to go to Italy and Spain and France and all of the things. So I can't.
We'll do a tour.
Yeah,
a world
we
tour.
will do a tour.
That was beautiful. Everything, like, truly, like, there was times where I was like brought to tears just staring at things because I'm like, this stuff is so beautiful. I'm sensitive, so it's not hard to believe, but it was so beautiful. I really could not believe my eyes, and it just like really brought me back to the present moment. Actually, the whole summer theme of the movement method is based around a conversation I actually had with the skipper of the sailboat. And it's called the coastal method, but it's all about just like, you know, you have a couple things when you're trying to sail. Like, you can either work with the wind or, you know, be okay with like being more patient with your destination. And it's just something that really inspired me, and had no service and just a bunch of wind and time to write. And like, that's how I came up with my summer theme.
Yay.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm really excited for the movement method to come to fruition fully, because I know that it's something that you've been working on for so long. And so I can't wait for it to see, you can't wait to see it and, you know, be able to support you in all the things that you do.
Yeah.
To kind of just like wrap up our little chat. What are some of the things that are like, what are we going to see next from you? Obviously we've got movement method on the way. But just, you know, some updates. Are we, you know, we traveling anywhere again soon? Are we?
Yeah, I'm moving to Italy.
Okay, perfect.
So just
Perfect.
I mean, that's
That's
really it.
All right,
Ciao.
bye guys.
No, I'm actually so dramatic. These are the things that I do, right?
Yeah.
Like, I immediately go to a different place and I start looking for real estate.
Yeah.
No, what you'll see from me is honestly the movement method. Like, I'm so inspired. Like, I came back from my trip so inspired and just refreshed and ready to get to work on that. I feel like I love that my birthday is on, like, you know, the second to last day of June, because it kind of just feels like this little halfway point for me. So I feel like July 1st is always like my New Year's.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll see a lot from the movement method. You'll see that develop into something that I'm really passionate about. I love to write, and a lot of the writing will be done by me. And so it's kind of just like what's in my brain, and like how you can survive this crazy wellness industry full of like tips and hacks and things that sometimes are just not that useful for you. You know, I want it to all be very intuitive and intentional for everybody, because that's the way I live my life. And I'm very passionate that that is working for me. And I'd like to help, you know, other women find kind of the same, and not even just women, men too. I have male clients, but most of my women put their, you know, significant others or their boyfriends or whatever on to whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
And like, everybody gets behind it. So I'm really passionate about the way that I kind of live that side of my life. And it's very easy, it's very relatable, and it's very fun. So yeah, I'm ready to share it with everybody.
Yay. I can't
Other
wait.
than that, I'll be like on a plane somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, just whatever.
Yeah.
I'll be stamping my passport around and just getting
Stamp
the
it.
heck out of here.
Yeah. Collecting stamps on your
Collecting
passport.
stamps.
Well, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on my Instagram at kingkortni.com. That is actually my last kingkortni.com.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah. I mean, maybe Instagram.com/KingKortni.
Right. Whatever. You know, I'm not really good at the technicalities of all that.
Yeah.
But go to
King
King
Kortni
Kortni on Instagram.
with a K.
With
So
a K.
We
My
didn't
last
talk
name.
about your alter ego.
My alter ego. You know what? Actually, since I've been traveling, everybody's been like writing my name Kortni with a C. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about that at all.
No.
But my last name is actually King. People are like, "Is that your last name?" It is.
She'll show you her driver's license.
I will show
I've
you my
seen
driver's
it.
license if you think I'm just so full of myself that I have to call myself King Kortni. But that
Yeah.
is my God-given name.
Yeah. King Kortni.
The movement method is attached to that. Flowbility, which I've talked about, is under the bio. So you can click on both of those resources. Other than that,
That's it.
that's it.
Okay. Well, I loved chatting with you today. I love bringing on people that are close to me because I think, again, it gives people a way to get to know me better as I bring the people that I like value the most in my life onto the show. And my mom's going to come on eventually.
Fun.
And, but there are some people soon that I'm going to have, that I don't know at all. So it's going to be fun to get people in here and just like genuinely like get to know them like on the podcast. But I've enjoyed having you on today.
Thanks for having me. This has been fun.
It's been so fun. But I will see you guys next Tuesday. We've got a solo episode. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the episode. Leave feedback and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.